こんにちは。私はHakonです。今日はもっと日本語を学びましょう。Hello, my name is Hakon, and today let's learn some more Japanese. First of all, I must apologize that it's been a few days since my last video. I was able to get out one every 2 days for a little while, but other things do get in the way sometimes. So here is another video for you. And remember, last time I went through all the additional katakana. So that's katakana that is used for writing foreign words and names that are using some syllables that aren't part of standard Japanese language, but which still aren't too hard for a Japanese person to pronounce. One thing you will notice, however, is that if they can avoid using those extra ones, or certainly most of them, they will. So they wouldn't be used so much in any common words, but they would be used in proper names of people, movie titles, book titles, music album titles, etc., when they are transcribed into Japanese. But not so much in words that are common words, things that denote things that would be talked about in Japanese, in which case they will usually normalize them more to the standard Japanese syllabary, which is what you have in the hiragana, of course. So, with that in mind, let's get on with some examples. Maybe, oh, well, before I do any examples, one thing I did look for after I did my last lesson now is a Kana chart. That is to say, a good overview of all the Kana, or that's a common term for the katakana and the hiragana, both, showing all the possible syllables of the Japanese language, both for the normal standard ones and also for the extra ones for the loan words. And I couldn't find a good one that I liked, so I made my own. So here it is. I'm going to make this available freely to download. I'll put a link in this video description and probably in future videos as well. And past videos. I can put it in past videos as well. So what this chart shows, it's got the hiragana up here, it says, and it says katakana in katakana. And we've got all the rows for all the possible combinations of consonants, really, the consonants on the rows, and we got the vowels in the columns. So a, I, u, e, o, and the a, I, u, e, o for the katakana as well. And then we got akasata, na, hama, ya, ra, wa, and an on its own row there, for tidiness. So those are the standard ones at the top. Those are the basic ones. If you know these, if you know the ones on the top there, you really are good to go. The rest is just logical combinations of them. And after the standard ones, which is just 46, then we have the voiced ones. So the ones that get a little duckten, a little sort of quotation mark like symbol on them, to make the ga, za, da, and ba lines, and also with a handakuten, the half dakuten, which now is a little circle like a degree symbol. It also looks like a Japanese full stop. The pa line, also based on the ha characters, as you remember. Then we have the glides, which is the combination of any character from the I line together with a small half-size ya, yu, or yo. And that makes kya, kyu, kyo, sha, shu, sho, etc. And then we got the kya, sha, cha, nya, hya, mya, rya, gya, ja, bya, and pya lines. Very simple, really, to know about, because they follow the same pattern, and you still only need to know the basic set of characters to write these. And then we have the ones we talked about last time, the additional katakana characters that are common in Japan, but still not used much, except for book titles, movie titles, personal names, especially of contemporary people, like artists, for instance, actors, etc. And they give us, and I've tried to order these in a logical way that follow the same pattern as the other ones. So I've ordered them by vowel, so they're in the vowel rows, so a, I, u, e, o, and then I've given them the consonant description in the rows here. And I don't think I've seen this properly done before, and that is one of the reasons why I wanted to make my own chart. So we've got the sha line, which has the addition of she, so it's the character for she plus half size e becomes she, and the same with the voiced one, ja becomes je. Now we have the ta line, gets the addition of ti and tu. And remember that, of course, because those are chi and tsu in the normal syllabary. And remember also that the tu uses the to character rather than the te character. That's important to note. So it's a te plus a small half-size I becomes ti, and to plus a half-size u becomes tu. And the same with the da line, di, du. The cha line needs the addition of the che, because as you know, you already have cha from the glide line here. So chi plus small ya becomes cha. Chi is already a character, so the only one missing from the vowels is the che, and that's over there. The fa line, of course, you only have fu, not really an F, but yeah, fu. And with the additions of a small half-size a, I, e, and o, they become fa, fi, fe, fo, in addition to the fu that already exists. Wa is sort of not really a consonant. The wa, it's more a semi-consonant, semi-vowel, and it is written as such as well in Japanese, where it's written with a u. So it's a u plus half-size I becomes wi, wi, wi. And also with e and o, we, wo. You already have the wa, of course, as part of the syllabary. There is no wu. And the reason is that when you think about it, a wu would be like having a u twice in a way. So it's like double u, as it were. So wu. When you think about the w sound as almost like a u, you can't really have wu, because it just becomes woo or oo, oo. Over time, so it becomes a long oo instead of a woo. So that's phonetically, it makes logical sense why you wouldn't have a woo sound in Japanese. And then there is the voiced v sound, and of course they think about a v as a voiced u. So va, vi, vu, which is written only with the character u plus dakuten, ve, vo. And then we have kwa, which is written very much like you would expect, ku plus a small a, kwa, kwa. And you also get kuo. You do not get kui, you do not get ku, and you do not get kwe for some reason. But there you go. Kwa and quo. And then we have tsa, and of course that's the tsu character plus the small half-size a, tsa, and you get tsi, tse, tso. And of course you already have tsu in the standard syllabary. So those are additional sounds. I'll give you some examples in a moment of using those. I also made room for, because to balance things out, because first I made this, and then I thought, oh, there's a big space here. So I put in the doubling of morai as well. So, and of course, in the downloadable version, the additional character here that denotes the doubling is in dark red, so it's easy to see. This is a laser printer printout, so you can't actually see it so well. So, for the normal hiragana, the doubling of an R sound is with an additional R. So we have here Oka-san. So there's an extra R there. We have the doubling of an E, Oji-san, an additional E. We have the doubling of a U sound, Kuki. And we have the doubling of an E sound, Kirei. And that is written with an E character because that used to be a very strong diphthong in Japanese, kirei. But kirei, some people seem to speak it in a way that it sounds a little bit more like a still, so that is done. But think of it as a long e more so than a diphthong. Kirei. There are some exceptions to that rule. There are some that are written with an additional e. There's a handful of them. I'm sure you can find a list somewhere, or I can find a list somewhere. I haven't looked for it yet. One-san is one I've written down here. That's written with an extra e. So that means historically that was never a diphthong. It was never one-san. It was always one-san. So that is why that would be written with an e. And lengthening, a doubling of an O sound is written with a U. So is written with an addition of a U character, rather than an extra O. But some words, again, didn't used to be a diphthong, and they would have the double O. And there's only a handful of those too. And one of them is the word for big, oki, which is written with two O's in a row here. And then in katakana, a lot easier when you are doubling a vowel mora, you add a horizontal line. Very easy. Erebeta, I've got here, that means elevator in Japanese, by the way, if somebody wondered. Erebeta. And then we have a doubling of the consonants, which usually standard is done with a small tsu character, half-size tsu character. And here we have matcha, and that is green tea. As you know, that's a loan word in English. Matcha. We have the doubling of a consonant that has an N, that starts with an N, is done with an additional N as well. So it's onna. So it's an N and then followed by na. Is onna. And then we have also, because of the way the phonetics work in Japanese, if you're doubling an M sound, that is also an N. If you have an N that comes before an M and it's sort of part of, it becomes part of the same, it becomes like a doubling of the M sound, and it's pronounced like an M. So it says here sun mai, but it's pronounced sammai. Sammai. So it is like a double M, regardless of whether that N is sort of part of another part of the word that normally would have been pronounced N. When it comes before an M, it doubles the M sound exactly like the other doubling of the consonants. Sammai. In katakana, it's pretty much exactly the same. So we have saka, so a small tsu character again before the ka there. Saka, which means soccer, football. Penne, which means penne. It's penne pasta. Penne. So there's an N before for doubling of the N sound. And finally, just like in hiragana, when you're doubling an M sound, that is also done with an N character, not with a tsu. So we have here Denmaku. Denmark, which means Denmark. So that is the Kana chart, freely available to download, and I put this as Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial. So if you wonder what that means, you can look it up. But it means that if you can copy this freely, you can give it to anyone you like, but you can't sell it. You'd have to make your own, and you'd have to attribute me if you pass it on to others. So yeah, nothing fancy, but there's no point doing anything to copyright it because it's such a common thing anyway. Right, and it wasn't that artful, but I think it's a good layout, if I must say so myself. Right, I see that I've already spent about 15 minutes doing this episode, so I think I'll leave it there as a sort of a run through of the characters, and then I'll do the next episode. I'll give examples of foreign words and names in Japanese and how they are written with katakana, and also with the additional set of characters that are only used in foreign names as well. So I'll do that in the next episode. I'll do that in the next episode, and which I'll make right away after making this, by the way, so you won't have to wait too long for it. So, domo arigato. Thank you for watching, and sayonara. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.